Finally, it's my great pleasure to introduce Krista Vendy, and we've been talking
Hi.
online for a while, but never in person. Great to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you, Shane. Finally, I mean, we've had a few hit and misses trying to catch up, and now here we are, finally.
We're here to talk about a few things because I do want to ask you a little bit about your career, but the main object here is a movie called Quiego. Now, that was filmed in 2019. I hadn't even heard of it until I got a UK release for a UK site that I write for. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's a pretty harsh film. Do you know what took so long for release?
COVID. COVID was the main reason behind it all. It was just such bad timing at the time. And it's an indie film, as you know. So indie films always take a bit of time to get a bit of a release, get a bit of backing. And finally, it's just been a really slow burn, and it's starting to get the credit it deserves. I mean, it's not a film for everybody. It's not a typical Australian film, as you've seen.
Yes.
It's not comedy or really the typical drama related what in cinema what Australian film would be. And that's what attracted me to the film. It's so dark and different.
Good.
And yeah, I really loved being Polly, the character, that's for sure.
Yeah, Polly was very interesting. You're right, it is a dark and not your usual Australian film. I got to be honest, and I was in my review. I mean, I enjoyed watching it and everything that was involved in it, but not that, yeah, a little bit sort of uncomfortable at times, but that's a very good reason with the subject matter. Were you like part of an audition process? Did John Fraser, the director, did he handpick you? How did that come about to get the role of Polly?
Yeah, I actually auditioned for it. They had about a handful of actresses that they were looking at, and I got a call through my agent, and they said, "Oh, they'd like to see you for Polly." And I read the script, the first script, and
there was more than one, so they get
there was a
involved.
few rewrites, and I thought, wow, I get to play a little bit of a villain here. This is really interesting, and it's quite a complex character, Polly. It's not a straightforward character, and I think a lot of people who watch it won't understand that because it's quite a complex character, what Polly's all about. But you know, it's an interesting role. And yes, I did obviously get the job. There was about a handful of people, and I had to audition, and I felt really good when I walked into the room, and really liked John Fraser, the writer and director, and the producers. They were there as well, and just had fun with it. I thought, well, I'll just give it a go. I didn't do a backstory or anything at first because I wasn't really sure which way this character would go and what they really wanted. But then after I got the role, then I obviously got into the backstory. And
was that your idea, a part of a Polly backstory? Because you're emotive on screen. Like, I don't want to give too much away in case someone hasn't watched it, who's watching and listening to this, but you have a hidden agenda. So
do I?
What was the backstory, or can you give a bit of a light on that?
Well, I don't. I think I'd give it away if I said too much.
Sure.
But my backstory, well, for the character, I had to sort of delve into my family history and that sort of thing, the background of that. And because I studied Stella Adler technique, which is using your imagination, not so much on your personal experience and emotional, I could really go for it. That's what I love about Stella Adler. You can just really go for it beyond what's happened to you in real life. And so I really enjoyed just working on this backstory. And like I said, I probably shouldn't say too much because I'm one of these people who just give it away.
I'm so spoiler free. I like keeping spoiler free when I review on the radio, when I'm writing, whatever it might be. But that's a good bit of a. You stayed outside the box, Krista.
Thank you, Shane. For once.
You did tell me you talk a lot. Well, I don't mind. Tell me about the permits. Were they issued? Some of the Melbourne locations look like you were doing it on the fly, or is that just the naturalistic approach of the filmmaking?
Well, we worked, well, first of all, we worked at wonderful Dockland Studios with a lot of the indoor filming. And I had worked at Docklands once before for a Stephen King TV series.
Yep.
A while back. And that was wonderful to be a part of that. And then to go back, it was just so exciting. And at the time, all the studios there were all working. Everyone, it was just full as, you know, American productions and Australian productions. And getting back to your question about permits, yeah, I wasn't really, to be honest, aware. I mean, the stuff I had to film outside, my character was mostly indoors. So there was a couple of scenes I'm just trying to remember, outdoors, and I didn't notice, to be honest, but and I don't think they would have told me. I had no idea.
Probably not.
I'm sure it was a bit of on a whim at times, but John Fraser was fantastic as the writer and director, and obviously helped with producing. He knew exactly what he wanted in every scene. So he like I said, he knew everything what he wanted to do for the film. And there's always going to be ups and downs too, obviously, on the way. And
oh, for sure. It looked to me, I knew some of it was filmed at Docklands, but I didn't know a lot of it was, because to me it looked like an authentic Melbourne, you know, side streets and alleyways and things. So it was well done. It was well done, obviously, under budget restraints, being an indie film.
Incredibly. And the cinematography, I thought, was incredible.
Yeah, one of the highlights.
I agree with you 100%. I absolutely love the cinematography. I love that it was in black and white, something so different. But unfortunately, you know, you're not going to get all the cinema goers to go if it's in black and white, because it is so different. And it's hard to get Australians to go to the cinemas to see an Australian film to start with, let alone indie, dark, black and white, moody thriller. So, you know, but we hold out hope, and we hopefully that, like I said, it's a slow burn, this film.
Yeah.
People over time are going to probably know more about it. Probably another year, 2 years, it doesn't surprise me.
It might take its time to get out there, I think. And as you say, I'm an advocate for the Australian film industry, but not enough people see Australian films, whether they're streaming or whether they're at cinemas. There's so many options now, but unfortunately, a lot of them just disappear. It's just the way it has been, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm really sad. I was thinking about that before we started speaking, and you know, cinema. I thought, oh my God, you know, because of Netflix and Stan and all the other, you know, styles, genres like that. It is I thought that might be a problem, but I believe there's room for everything. And cinema, like, you know, you have Tom Cruise, Maverick, and that's come out, and the James Bond film that came out recently. And it just goes to show cinema is alive and well.
Oh, for sure.
But that's not Australian film, though.
No.
And I do believe that there is room, and it's just, I don't know how we market it. I don't know how we change the system in some sort of way to make the cinema back like it used to in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm all for directors and producers and they're taking risks, but I recently saw Nude Tuesday, an Australian film which is on Stan. Now that's all in gibberish. It's all in gibberish. It's such a risk. I mean, it's such a risk, and it's a comedy, Australian New Zealand co-production. It's in gibberish, so it's got subtitles, but it's hard enough to get people into subtitle movies and Australian movies. So this is doubling up. I applaud the risk that a lot of people are making in Australia, but sometimes it's hard, you know. I just hope they're doing it for the love and not expecting huge box office, which is, I hate saying that, but that's a reality. It is streaming. What's your opinion on streaming? A lot of more eyeballs on movies, I guess, which helps.
Yeah, I think streaming is, I think it's great. I mean, look, the more streaming and access to film, the TV, the better, I say.
Yeah.
It's just everywhere now, which is a good thing. You know, one of my dreams would be to actually get a series on Netflix, or I think every actor's dream, you know, because it's from film actors to TV actors. It doesn't matter what you do these days, as long as you're part of a great storyline and team. So streaming.
Well, keep at it. Keep at it, because there's always productions. Queensland, Sydney, Melbourne. There's series getting filmed and the studios in each state. So you're bound to get something soon, I hope.
I think so. I've missed out on some golden opportunities in the past, you know, when it comes down to the blonde and brunette.
Yeah.
And actually that has happened to me about 3 years ago. That happened to me. True story. I could have dyed my hair brown, but no one thought of that. You know, sometimes it comes down to really crazy, things. But anyway, you just got to keep pursuing your goals and your dreams, and COVID didn't obviously help the situation.
Oh, not at all. No. Are the opportunities there still there for you? Are you finding you're getting offers, or are you actively looking through with your agent for roles?
I've had a couple of offers recently, but the writers are writing the script at the moment, so I'm excited, but that could happen in another year or 2 years.
Sure.
If they've got to get, it's very, they're just starting, so that could take, depending on money.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm pursuing because, COVID was a silver lining in many ways, because I decided just to obviously focus 100% on my boys, and homeschooling and doing all that, learning how to cook.
Learning,
because I'm not a great cook. Well, I'm a better cook now, I must say. Shane,
do you have a specialty now?
Chicken pot pie.
Ah, okay, sounds all right.
Chicken pot pie, yeah, no, it's pretty good actually, I must say myself.
As long as the kids like it.
They love it. Every Thursday night, chicken pot pie. And I used to play the clarinet growing up, and I went back to playing clarinet, and
wow.
And just spending family time.
Yeah.
So that's been really, really good. And I think I was just getting a bit bored. Not when bored is not the right word, but less interested with acting. I have these ups and downs with acting all my life. And because I love traveling, and I love adventure, and I love meeting new people, and I thought, well, maybe I might get into do something else, and then because of COVID, spending time with the family was wonderful, and now I'm like ready to get back into acting again. And
it's really good to hear.
Yeah, and I don't feel like I've really got to my best yet, and I think most actors probably think like that anyway. I don't think it's just me, but I think the best is yet to come for sure.
The best of Krista is yet to come. That is very good to hear.
Yeah.
How do you explain the longevity of your career then? Modeling a lot, acting, you're combining the two. Now you're a mum, and now you want to do more acting. Yes, you've had fans and admirers for a long time. What do you put that down to, the longevity of your success?
Wow, that's a really good question. Trying to keep as real as possible, trying to just be like my parents always said to me, walk with kings but retain the common touch.
Oh, that's a nice saying.
Yeah, my father actually said that to me when I was about 10 years old, when I said I wanted to be an actor. I think just keeping it real and having a sense of humor. Don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, I think so.
And don't be afraid. Like I haven't been afraid to, I've had times where I haven't been interested in acting for a while, for whatever reason, or modeling, or I used to do a little bit of presenting as well. And thought, well, what else can I do? Maybe I'll do archaeology. I studied a little bit of archaeology when I was at UCLA, when I was acting in America. And I probably will get back to archaeology when I'm about 102. I love first civilizations. That's a passion of mine. So, never be afraid to, try new things. But acting will always be a part of my life, though.
That's good to hear. So you could add another string to your bow and be like a museum tour guide around the archaeology and the bones and the dinosaurs. How good would that be?
Very old, but yes, I'll be old, and that's old as well. So yes, we'll work well together.
Is Hollywood was calling for a while. Did you find it great over there? Did you get lots of opportunities, or were you happy to come home? How was your experience in Hollywood, those projects that you're on?
Have we got a few hours? Because it's really, I'll try to keep this short. You know, LA is very transient. I love New York. I didn't spend enough time in New York. I think for my personality, the person I am, I think I would have probably done a lot better in New York than LA. I had some great experiences when I first went to LA. I was offered, you know, a lot of things, and also UTA came calling, but I didn't have the right, I don't know, I think I didn't have the right management at the time behind me to really tell me this is what you should be doing, Krista. And I kind of just said, oh, I just sort of blew it off a bit, if that makes sense. I was taking myself so seriously when I was working in Australia, and I was hustling and I was working all the time. And then I got to America and I had all these opportunities, and I just sort of went, you know what, I'm just going to do my own thing, and I'm going to travel a little bit and do this. And I had a boyfriend at the time, and blah, blah, blah. I studied a lot over there, and I did do that.
Well, that's a bonus. That's good.
And I learned so much about myself. And at the end of the day, I don't regret anything. I think I would change, if I went back to America at some point, I'd probably go back to New York and live over there.
New York. Yeah, okay. That's the place to be.
For me personally, yes. And I know my husband loves it too. So that's a bonus. But yeah, no, I really enjoy my time in LA. Like I said, it really teaches you the good and the bad about yourself.
About yourself, okay.
About yourself, absolutely. And I had some great times and highs and some super lows over there too. It's very lonely.
Yeah.
You know, I have some great friends still over there, American girlfriends over there. And, you know, you got the Australian mafia over there, I call them.
Yes.
You know, they're wonderful. They're wonderful. But, you know, it's pretty cutthroat. And I was very happy to come back to Australia. I thought, well, I've got enough time. Have I really gone for it? Maybe not as much as I could. That's for sure. I know that. But I think I really missed home a lot, and I just wanted to be back.
And you don't have to answer this if you don't want, but I mean, with the Me Too movement and Time's Up is so prevalent, and like it's still a challenge, but it has progressed so much. Did you ever have any hurdles or any problems, you know, in auditions or people you've met over the time?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. I had it in the modeling industry, and when I was traveling overseas in modeling, I had it in Australia once from a photographer, and I had it from a very well-known producer in Los Angeles, who in front of the cast and crew kissed me and licked my ear.
That's shocking.
I've never said that publicly before. That's the first time. But I mean, my husband and my family know about it, and
that's shocking.
And it's shocking. And I was in shock. And like most of these women say, they don't do anything about it straight away. And I can understand, because you just can't believe it happened.
Yeah,
it's happening to you, and no one reacted around me. It was like everything was normal. And I didn't really understand what happened till really process it until about a week later. I just forgot about it. And then a week later I went, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
Well, you came out the other side, obviously, and you're okay, but it's still an awful experience.
Yeah.
Well, something much lighter, Neighbours has finished, and you were a big part of that. How do you feel that it's finally finished? That's a big deal. I've got to admit, I'm more of a movie guy than a television guy, but I know how much it is iconic around the world, and you were part of it.
Thank you. I think it had its time. I think 37 years is a long time for any TV show.
Oh yeah.
I think it's it's contributed so much of Australian television history, and I'm so proud of it, of its mark, of what it's done to Australia, and watched around the world. And I remember being Tess on the show, and I love the cast and the crew. You know, I went to the party, the after party the other night.
Rap party? Oh,
rap party.
Yeah. The big rap party.
It was a big rap party, and I went, and I was a little bit nervous because I thought, well, maybe I won't. Well, I know some of the cast that are still on it, like Alan Fletcher. He's a very
Right.
good friend of mine, and his wife Jen Hansen, and Libby, who Kim Valentine, of course, and
Yep.
she's from Quiego as well.
Yes.
And she's lovely. So I went, but the crew, half the crew haven't changed. They were still there, and they saw me. And
It's a regular gig, so why not?
It was so funny, and they said, "Hey, Krusty," and they called me Krusty because I used to have curly hair. Okay, Krusty the clown. And I'm like, oh my God, no one has called me Krusty since Neighbours days. And they're the best. They will be missed. And I've got, like I said, fond memories. And it was great that Kylie Minogue and Jason Donovan
Sure, yeah.
came back on set. I don't know, how big their scene is. It doesn't really matter. I don't care if they say hi, bye.
No.
Just to see their faces is an amazing finish for Neighbours.
That's really good. Well said. Before we wrap it up, another question. You mentioned Kim Valentine on Quiego. Who else stood out to you, scene partners, when you were working with them on Quiego? Anyone you really enjoyed acting opposite?
Oh, definitely Peter.
Yep.
Who played Eugene.
Yes.
We're good friends in real life. We've done some work together.
Oh, good.
And he...
It's a multi-layered role. I mean, yeah, so he did well, but to act, if you know him, that obviously helped with your connection and chemistry.
He was absolutely, and we want to work more together because he's just wonderful. He's one of these actors. We're a little different in our acting style, whereas when the cameras are finished, they call cut. I'm like, okay, let's move on. Let's talk about food or whatever. But he is really he focuses. He's more in the character pretty much the whole time, which was pretty tough on Pete because it's a tough character, as you know, to play.
Oh yeah, very much so.
And kudos to him. And he's won awards because of it. From several film awards internationally. It's wonderful. He deserves it, and I just wish him the best. I really wish that he. It's really interesting, the acting industry, because in Australian TV and film, we tend to use the same actors, and there's so many wonderful actors.
True.
And that's okay, but I think there's a room and a place for everyone. And casting can sometimes get a little bit lazy.
Yeah.
And directors, because I understand it's hard, because also they've got to get the money, so they need.
Oh, that's a big thing. Yeah, of course.
They have to get money. It's different these days to what it used to be, but hopefully that will change in some sort of way where more actors like Pete will get out there. And
yeah, Pete's great, and I do think the movie's going to be more relatable, even, or appreciated overseas film festivals, and that crowd. It's sad to say, but yeah, it'll have its second coming eventually, I'm sure.
I agree. Germany, the German market, the English market, and the French market in particular, all really like it. South Africa too. Been winning awards in South Africa as well recently. So
terrific.
It's all over the place. And there was this, I forgot their names, and these American podcast guys, and they raved about it. They said it was one of the best top 10 indie films they've seen ever.
Well, that's a massive call.
So that was recently, and I forgot what they're called, but I love them for it, obviously. And they said something nice about me, so I was like, you hold your breath and go, oh.
Well, who wouldn't? Polly was a standout character. I said that in my review. So you've made something of it, and I hope to see you acting more.
I do. Well, thanks, Shane. And I'm really focused on obviously after COVID and everything to get back in it. So,
what about writing a role for yourself? If you could write a role in a movie and it got funded immediately, would you be the hero, the villain, the romantic interest, the ghost that comes back from the past? Who would you like to be? The singer, the rock singer? Who would you like to be? Any role you could write for yourself that got funded.
That's really tough. And
of course it is. I like asking tough questions.
I love so many different genres of film, and I've thought about this before. And you're going to laugh at this. I love period drama, romantic period drama.
That's great.
Prejudice. Joe Wright is, to me, I would love to work with Joe Wright. I just think he's incredible on detail. It's just the cinematography, but his direction is just sublime.
Atonement is a masterpiece in particular.
And Pride and Prejudice.
Yep.
The single camera that runs through the first scene, that goes through the house, and it runs for, I don't know, feels like forever.
It's a great tracking shot. Yeah, it's well loved.
It's amazing. I love Indiana Jones. So I love anything that's adventure. So, and I love archaeology. So I'd love to play a hero in some sort of Indiana Jones, but a female version. But I also love like the Gene Wilder days. I love the comedy of like Young Frankenstein and those types of dark comedies. So that's a hard question, but probably my first would be period drama, like a good Australian period drama. They do that well, Australians. So
playing Beatty Bow, one of the greats.
Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? But I also, what I work with, I also think of people like a lot of my favorite actors in the past have been, well, they're dead now. So, for example, Gene Wilder. And Gina Rowland. I think she is absolutely unbelievable. She's dead, right? Well, she's still alive.
No, I think Gina Rowland's still alive, but please don't send hate mail to me if you're listening to this and she's not. But I do believe she's still alive. Yes. Well,
I think A Woman Under Influence is probably one of my favorite films, and I really wanted to be an actress after I saw her play or her perform and act in that. It was incredible. Yeah,
that was a mass, like that era of actors that coming through, and a lot of them that are still alive are 80s and 90s now. Some have given up acting, like Gene Hackman, but then you got Donald Sutherland, who's still acting, Clint Eastwood, Judi Dench. You know, there's all these really great old school actors that are still on the top of their game. So yeah, any of them, I'm sure you'd love to be a scene partner with.
Judi Dench would be an ultimate. Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
He's flawless in everything he does. He could play anything, and I would believe him. You know,
I could go on about actors in movies, of course, but we talked about comedy a second ago, and we're going to finish this interview up with Horseplay. Now, there's my 2002 DVD. That was a movie you appeared in. It's about the Melbourne Cup and a whole lot of shenanigans and different things happening with a big cast, a lot of characters. Abby Cornish in particular was young in that, and she came a long way since then, among others. Marcus Graham was good in it. You had a small role in it. What are your memories? I'm not sure it did that well at the box office, sorry.
Well, no. My role, by the way, Shane, would have been bigger. But there was an accident on set.
An accident by you, or?
Well, so what happened was my character Tiffany is married to, or am I a girlfriend? Or I can't remember now. Girlfriend.
I think you're a girlfriend.
Girlfriend. Thank you, Shane. To the jockey.
I rewatched it. I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago in anticipation of this chat.
Well, thanks, Shane. So my character gets kidnapped. And what was meant to happen was my character gets kidnapped and I get headbutted. Now, we had a stuntman with us, and the actor who headbutts me accidentally headbutted me for real.
Ooh.
And I went too far forward. And he went too far forward, and actually, I actually, put it this way, his head hit my lip here.
Oh, no.
And I had to get 3 stitches. And so it was pretty bloody at the time. And my lip just was like this. And I had stitches coming out of my lip. It was just terrible. So they had to shorten my role because of it, because it was halfway through filming.
You had like something over your head most of the movie too. Was that you under the bag? No.
No, because I was... Yeah, unfortunately, like I was meant to have a bigger role.
Yeah, of course.
And the person who was playing Tiffany, who was sitting on the bed, that wasn't me. In fact, that character was kind of, if I had been there, I would have moved around and flapped around a bit more, but she was just like stiff, like a stunned mullet. So
seen that way, yes.
Yeah, that was not me, Shane.
Okay.
So yeah, so that was really unfortunate. I think, look, there was like any film, you read the script, you think, wow, this is going to be incredible, and there were so many great actors. It was a lot of, look, before the lip situation happened, I had a lot of fun. It was great.
That's good.
You know, working with the actors was amazing. Robert Menzies and he's incredible. So
there was a deleted scene on my DVD of you escaping from the caravan thingy, and they caught you, but it wasn't in the movie, but it was on the deleted scenes on the DVD.
Yeah,
bit of extra footage.
Thanks a lot, Shane. Yes, it was interesting. I mean, there's some other things I could say I probably should not about the film, but yeah, like I said, before that incident happened, it was I had a great time, and the producers were great to work with. So,
well, quick story from me. I saw it at a local cinema, and they always played a horse-related movie on a Melbourne Cup day, and then got people in, and that was the movie that they showed one year. Now, I don't know how it went down, but I'm just letting you know, 20 years ago or so, that was shown at Avoca Beach Theatre on the Central Coast at a Melbourne Cup day.
Well, at least it was shown somewhere, Shane. That's always an up.
Fair enough. Okay, so finally, your final word on Quiego. Why should people watch it or seek it out? It's heavy going, heavy duty, but well acted, like I said. Cinematography is terrific, but that's my words, your words. Why should people check out Quiego?
Simply, it's something so different to anything Australians have seen in Australian cinema, or, you know, go stream it. It's like you said, it's well acted. The cinematography is flawless. It's a really complex, interesting story that's relevant to today. And it's in black and white, which you don't see all the time. So, and it's great to see it on the big screen. You really get drawn into the story.
Black and white works for me because I don't know. There's just something about black and white, and it changes moods and atmosphere and different direction of films can take. So that's another ambitious thing from John Fraser to do, to, you know, stand up for himself, because I'm sure the finances probably wanted it in color.
100%. I don't know all the politics behind it, but absolutely, it would have been really hard right from the start. The storyline, that it's in black and white, Australian film, you know, it's really tough making any type of film these days. But, you know, he went for it, and hats off to him. And it's a great story. It's a really great story.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Shane.